India turns net steel exporter to China, the first time in years, even as various restrictions are being looked at by government agencies to curb Chinese imports. The neighboring country has provided big export support to the Indian steel industry, saving it from the blushes of weak domestic demand and consequent fall in production. According to a report by Crystal Research, India turned net exporter of steel to China for the first time in several years, with 69% of semi-finished steel and 28% of finished steel heading there between April and August. Indeed, it was exports that saw large primary steel makers through the peak lockdown months, with 60–80% of their total production between April and August finding its way to various destinations, with China leading the pack. Consequently, crude steel production fell a lower 27% on year, despite a massive 38% fall in domestic demand. April–August, the fall in production was far less severe. For export-oriented primary manufacturers, 20% decline, compared with secondary steel makers, 40%, the Crystal Research report said. However, the jump in exports, by as much as 400% on year in June, has come off peak since then, owing to the easing of domestic lockdowns and some revival in economic activity, reclaiming domestic demand for steel. For China, supply disruptions and elevated global iron ore prices led to higher steel imports in these months, given that it imports over 90% of its iron ore requirement. While the global steel prices were on a slide, from end February till June, iron ore prices soared, led by supply-side disruptions, especially in Brazil and Australia. Iron ore prices zoomed past coking coal prices, another first in the past 25 quarters. This prompted port-based capacities in China to import semis and process them further, in order to save on increased iron ore costs. More than two-thirds of Indian semi-finished exports were to China in April–August. Notwithstanding soaring iron ore prices, global steel prices fell to a low of $409 per ton in April, the lowest since October 2016, given weak demand and limited export opportunities. But demand recovery in China, especially in the current quarter, aided a 9% on-month rise in steel prices in August to $502 per ton. Crystal Research expects global steel prices to rise here to closer to $460 for $190 per ton, or 3–5% lower on year. In India, though, the fall in domestic prices has been limited, owing to rupee depreciation, which impacts global landed prices. August also saw domestic prices climb back 8% on month on account of a mild recovery in domestic demand. Thus, while the global steel prices will witness a 3–5% drop on year in calendar 2020, domestic prices are expected to decline only 1–2%, also given that anti-dumping duties are in place, the report said.